Hey true believer, it's Englentine here with another Marvel vs. DC Comics. This time calling it the Battle of the Big Dogs because we've got some special issues from Batman, from Superman, from Spider-Man, and of course Captain America. And a couple of one-shots and some legacy startups. Now we score 1 star is horrible, 2 stars bad, 3 stars average, 4 stars good, and 5 stars excellent. After we're all done reviewing, we tally up the scores, average them out to see who the best publisher is. And we do make sure that our reviews are honest. There's no bias here. Promise you that. Even though there are some books that suck. Alrighty. So once again, also, if you haven't figured it out already, the covers you see going by are the books that we're going to be reviewing. And by we, I'm using the royal we. My brother, Chef Jack, does his own. We split the Marvel and DC universes in half. He does half of them. I do half of them. And, yeah, that way we keep it from being a 50-minute video every time out, because that's what they started to become. Anyway, just kick back, relax, and enjoy the party. The 1-star books are the worst of the worst, the ones you should definitely avoid. Bombshells United Chapter 10. So we're dealing with the aftermath of the story, basically. Wonder Woman had been killed. Clayface, the general, everybody else is standing trial, and this is basically, it's the aftermath. It's the epilogue. And, oh my God, it's so bad. It's so bad. Why? Why? The first Bombshells was good. I mean, yeah, it had its spots, but overall it was good. But this one has just been toilet. It has not even been what's in the toilet. It's just a bland, just sitting there, not working anything toilet. In this one, Bennett really tries to be philosophical and just fails mightily. And then the twist at the end, it's like, really, you're going to give her an hour's worth of time to be out of the picture? It was just bad. The 2-star books are merely bad with some saving grace, keeping them from being truly horrible. Iceman number 7. So this continues right where Iceman number 6 left off, which basically is in the gutter. This book is not good. I wish I could say this book is good. I would love a decent Iceman book. I like the character. Not the best in the world. I'm not, oh, I'm a big Iceman fan, because who is? But, so the champions and Iceman are getting together, and they are supposed to be mourning the loss of Black Widow. Unfortunately, what it turns into is a How to Be a Gay Man book. And you get this because he meets another guy and he goes, I'm going to teach you how to be gay. And I've gotten comments on the last video that said, I never had to read a book to know how to be gay. I've never learned, you know, it's just, you do it. Just the same as being straight. This is still a lost story. It's still a book that is meant for a 17-year-old child. A 17-year-old kid, I should say. You know, it's somebody who's finding their way. This is not a 30-year-old man who knows himself. And the more they do the character like this, the more they really are playing into the fact that Iceman was converted and not born this way. Black Lightning number 1. All right. Man, I was looking forward to this book. But holy Toledo, is this dull. It's really just, it's a bland and generic book. I did a full review on it, as I try to do with the number 1s. And like I said, I don't understand why this was published. If there's nothing inspiring about it, nothing that stands out about it. The covers are boring, really. Even this one, this is the best of them, and it's still boring. There's just nothing to grab onto. The characters aren't really well fleshed out, and they're dull. You know, there's nobody you want to hang around for any amount of time. The bad guys are boring and cliched. Ultimately, this seems like such a rushed job. It really does. It's just like they didn't really care. There's no passion in it. I don't know. Maybe I expect too much out of my comic books these days. Dead Man #1. Now, I did a full review of this, so please go check out that video if you want more details into it. The gist is that while I love the character, I like the Strange Adventure days, particularly Love and Death in the 1990s, this book is just a mishmash. It tries to be clever and cool, and it just ends up confusing and flat. It wants to be stylistic. Instead, it runs into a wall. It's just, I don't know. It was dead on arrival. That's the pun I made in the title. But point being is, while I will read the next issue, obviously, because I'm reviewing it, but this one, man, I wanted it to be good. Art's fine. It's just that the story itself, man, it hit a wall really quick. The 3-star books are merely average. You might like them, you might hate them. For us, it just didn't move the needle. Green Arrow #34. Green Acres is the... Anyway, Green Arrow is not really a comic book. I mean, it's got writing and pictures, and sometimes the words form sentences. It's just that it's so episodic. It is so cut up and broken apart that it is hard to see the story that they're trying to tell in complete form. Now, granted, nothing here is inherently bad. I mean, if you really hate all liberal politics, of course, just stay away from Green Arrow completely. But that's not even bothersome. I mean, this is his character. It's just that we're getting, oh, well, here's a segment, here's a segment, here's a segment. Now put them together and go your own way. The art's all right. I dig the art in the book. Although Green Arrow is drawn to be a little bit younger than he needs to be. Overall, this is a very average book. And come to think of it, I can't remember the last time I was actually excited for Green Arrow. That is a sad thing to say. Bane Conquest #7. So, okay, the Cobra Holy Man dies. Actually, it's kind of funny the way he does. He escapes Bane into Cobra's submarine, falls down the ladder, and breaks his neck. I thought that was a pretty good twist because, you know, you have this big onslaught onto the sub by Bane, and you think it's going to be this violent thing, and he gets away, and it's a casual accident. Well done, you know? And so, Bane and the Headless Dude, I didn't learn all the names. I've been reading it, but, yeah. So, anyway, they decide to start looking for the resurrected Cobra leader because they know that the Cobra will be doing the funeral and such. It's okay. This is not a memorable series. I'm sorry. It's not memorable. I mean, there's just nothing that stands out about it in any good way. The art's average. The story is meh. Take it or leave it. You're going to forget it almost as soon as you finish reading it. I mean, it is absolutely middle-of-the-road bland. I mean, this is the line in the middle of the street. It's nothing. Pick a lane. Go for it. Harley and Ivy meet Betty and Veronica, issue #2. Man, I want this book to be as fun as it thinks it is, or wants to be. Now, there are parts and pieces where you do see a glimmer of hope that it's going to be exactly what it seems to want to be, which is really just mindless fun. But I think it oversaturated itself with plot instead of story. This should be a book about characters, and instead it really is. It's a book about the plot, and that's what makes it fall flat. Even now, we really haven't had a lot of interaction between the 4 titular characters. Titular. Anyway, it just should have, like I said, there just should have been more of that. Now, granted, they're setting some stuff up, so maybe in the future it'll be better. But as now, it's okay. It's just not fun. Inhumans, Once and Future King #4 is just one of the hidden gems that are being produced by Marvel. It's a decent story. This time it's talking about Maximus and Black Bolt and how they had their first appearance, or first, I should say, encounter with SpiderMan. And it's a decent story. Maximus tries to use his mental powers on Spider-Man, but his Spidey sense causes some sort of loop where they kind of absorb each other's personality a little bit, to the point where Maximus is worried for Aunt May. She needs to get her medicine. It's not the best thing in the world. The art could definitely use some work, but the story is fun. It's entertaining. It's a sleeper, but it's not fantastic. You know, it's just something that I think is quiet and you would enjoy it. Not going to blow your head off over it. You're not going to woohoo! But you'll definitely go, you know what? Wasn't bad. Batman number 34. So, what to say about this issue? What can you say about this issue? I better think of something because I got a minute to talk about it. Well, the art is okay. I'm not a big fan of Batman wearing the overcoat. I mean, honestly, think about that for a second. He's in a bat suit and an overcoat. Why? Doesn't he have the goggles that go down? Doesn't that keep... He's got a cape? I don't know. That's kind of silly. Anywho, the story itself, however, isn't really a story. It's a fight scene with really bad, quote, marriage dialogue, unquote. I'm sorry, guys, but this was not a strong one. And then Batman sees Talia. She's got a sword, and instead of disarming her, she gets stabbed. It's just... I know some people like this story, and I've been liking Snyder's run, but this, you know, they can't all be winners, and to me, this wasn't a winner. Captain America number 695. Wow. So, Mark Waid restarts Captain America. I did a full review of this, so definitely check that out. And since that time and now, I've seen a lot of reviews and I've read a lot of comments. I still stand by what I said. I do see what everybody's thinking, and a lot of people thought this book was good. Some people, I myself, it was not good, but I'm hopeful. I think he brought in just modern-day identity politics and passed it off even in 2007. What could have been a commentary on modern-day political violence and individualism ended up just being a wank fest of modern-day social justice warrior politics. Neither as bad or as good as it could have been. I have to admit, this year, Nightwing has elevated itself. When it first started, I was thinking, it's good, but it's not, it's not one of my favorite books in the DC Rebirth. It wasn't. But really, since Blockbuster came upon the scene, I've been enjoying it. And here we have a good book that tells a story as Dick Grayson himself is doing detective work, all while pretending to be a blackjack dealer, talking to Raptor, who supposedly has the drop on him of some sorts. And it's a really good story. You get Raptor's backstory in it. You get his origin. You get a little bit more of what happened to Dick Grayson's parents. And that's always fun. We get stuff with his sidekicks here. It's overall just a well-written book. I can recommend this title finally. Justice 2, Chapter 30. So, Supergirl is on the Themyscira. And finally, she's located where Wonder Woman is. She talks to a couple of the guards and says she's looking for Wonder Woman to free her. And we find out that there is a group of Amazons that see the way that Wonder Woman was doing things is the proper way to have them done. So they help Supergirl get her out of Amazon jail. And it's good. I like this storyline. Now, granted, it's not amazing, not yet, but Injustice 2 can be. I've seen it happen like that. And this is really shaping up to be a decent chapter of the Injustice story. It really has been good. It's very simple to read. They're 99 cents a week. So, it's not too hard to go, okay, well, this one was okay, but next one will be better. But this one, it's a good story, and it's really shaping up to be something special, I think. The 4-star books are good. These are the stories in comics we can actually recommend. Spider-Man number 234, The Return of the Sinister Six, Part 1. Now, This is a very episodic book, which works in its favor as well as against it. There are scenes, and every scene is done well. They don't always mesh, but at least you can skip the scene that you don't like without losing any of the story, so that works. I did like the bits with Miles Morales and his friends. They were written like teenagers. That's good. Ceres here with her mysterious buyer wanting to get all of the tech. You see there, that was awesome. I liked the ending where we learn the whole job that they want to do. So there are a lot of good things here to check out. I guess that's it. Yeah, it's decent art, good story. It was a good book. I can't say too much bad about it, except for it was episodic. Old Man Logan number 30, that kind of just wraps up the whole Maestro thing, which, God, finally. I mean, you know, it's good. It's a decent storyline, but Lord in heaven, it seemed to go on forever. And anyway, in this one we have, like, little Hulkling, I forget his name, has the Maestro's bomb, and Hawkeye's got an arrow on him. He's threatening to shoot him. We have Wolverine trying to talk him down. Everybody doesn't like Maestro now because they see that he has betrayed all of the Hulks. He has his own agenda. And we get the big brawl between Old Man Logan and the Maestro. It's really, really cool. I didn't like the twist so much because it kind of underplayed a dramatic point. It's harsh to see the Marvel movie thing come into the comics. But overall, it's a decent story. It's a decent book. I'm glad they wrapped it up. I'm interested in seeing what's next. Overall, this book, this title, is a good title. So, yeah, we'll see where it goes from here. But this one, pretty good. It's the last issue of the storyline, however, so I can't recommend you pick this up as a starter. But definitely the trades would be a good place to go. Black Bolt number 7. So this is one of those books that you have to, if you're going to review it, of course, and give it a decent review, or, you know, by that I mean, you know, unbiased, you have to forget about the writer. Because, yeah, the writer's one of those guys you want to smack in the face. So, how is the book objectively? It's pretty damn good. I mean, yeah, the guy's a douche nozzle, but he writes a good book. And the visuals, they are very odd, but absolutely fits the story at hand. Black Bolt is one of the best books that Marvel is producing, no matter who is writing it. And by that I mean, of course, you know, the douchewad. So I can recommend it on its own merit. And if you don't mind looking past the politics for a decent comic, you will find it in Black Bolt number 7. The Judsons number 1. Meet George Judson. It's a decent book here. It ended up being fine. It was a good book. I liked it. I like all the Hanna-Barbera books in some way, shape, or form, it seems like. They're good. I like the cover here. The art is fine. It's not the greatest in the world, but the inking and the coloring makes up for it. And the book is bright, and it looks great. There are just some pages that are like, oh, wow, that's really interesting. And that's one thing I like about it. It's a visually interesting book, and the story is interesting as well. And I'm surprised they went as deep with the story that they did. I mean, this is dealing with planetary destruction as well as global warming and all sorts of stuff. Of course, you got the teenage stuff as well. You know, but it's decent characters, decent book. Hey, man, you should pick this one up, seriously. Shadow and Batman, number 2. So while Dynamite's over there messing up with the original Shadow and his books, over here, Batman and Shadow are kicking butt and having fun doing it. And so in this one, it starts off where the last issue ended with Damian Wayne about to take on a whole bunch of zombie attackers. He could tell that somebody's controlling him, but there's so many that he's being overtaken. Batman desperately wants to reach him, but he can't, and it's the Shadow who comes in. And let me tell you something, this book alone is worth the price of admission for the scene where you see Damian Wayne running away for his life, yet still being arrogant towards the Shadow. It really is just a fun, it's a good adventure story. It's a good character story. It's got good art. This is comics right here, man. Pick it up. Power Pack number 63. So this book makes me want to have a Power Pack series back. And I'd be afraid of it, actually, because I don't know whose hands it would be in. And that's the sad thing. Okay, I'm not going to talk about the politics. Let's go into this. I liked this book, but part of what really made me like this book is the nostalgia factor. It tells the story of Katie. She has a writing assignment. She decides to write about one of the adventures she had as, in the Power Pack team with her brothers and sisters. And she's retelling it. So going back and looking at them as kids doing their thing, it was a lot of fun, and it was entertaining. It was enjoyable. So when I think, wow, that was a lot of fun, I would like to see him again, you know, it'd be as the teens and not as the kids that they were. But still, it could be fun. It could be entertaining because this book was both of those things. Batman, the Dark Prince, Charming 1. So I did a I did a full-length review of this one, and it is just a beautiful book. And, you know, just some books just are perfect marriage of words and art. And this is one of those things. Is it a perfect book, however? Well, no. No, it is really good. But the thing is while I'm watching it, I actually, my mind was editing scenes. And I said this in the full-length review. But the thing is nothing, even though it had extra scenes, even though there were things you can remove and still keep the story, so it wasn't necessary for it to be, you know, two $12.99 hardcovers, although that's still a good price for it, it was still decent. It's still a good book to buy. So, you know, any little problem I had with it really is just a nitpick. This is a good, solid Batman story. Iron Fist number 74. So they are trying to find the people who stole Iron Fist's book, the Book of Kunlun. Mainly Sabretooth's trying to find out who's put on the Constrictor outfit and is going around imitating one of his friends. Iron Fist is just tagging along trying to get his book. It's a really well-written story. It's a lot of fun, too. There's a surprising amount of humor in it. The art is top-notch. This is one of the few books that I really, really have to read every week. There's some that, you know, okay, yeah, I read it just because I'm going to review it. But this is one I really look forward to. And it's continued to be very, very well put together. So yeah, I can highly recommend Iron Fist number 74. Superman number 34, or Superman number 800 if you're counting. I kind of dig the 800 cover too. Not this one, although this is a pretty good one. You know, I like the whole Fury's armor on Lois Lane, but I was talking about this one. I don't know, I just like the art on it. It's pretty cool. Wouldn't mind having something like that for a poster, wouldn't you? It's kind of cool. Anywho, this is a cool story. I'm liking this story. So Lex Luthor is kidnapped. He's supposed to be the apocalypse god, and he shows up and accepts all the accolades. But yeah, things happen, you know, as they would on Apocalypse, and the crowd turns. And then you have another story where Lois Lane is on Apocalypse, and she gets kidnapped by the Furies. It's an excellent story. It's well written. It's well drawn. And I mean, you can tell by the art right here. And it's just tons of fun. Man, Superman rules these days. And the 5-star books are the best of the best. The ones we highly recommend for the week. Batman the Devastator number 1. This is another one I did a full-length review. Please go check that out. The summary, however, would be that I liked this book. And now that I've had some time between the review that I made and this particular summarization of the review, I kind of figured out what my problem was with it initially. This, more than any of the other books, screams backstory. There is a story from the place that the Devastator is from I want to read a lot. So it isn't like the things I found wrong with it were actually wrong with the book. It's just that, man, I want so much more of this character. I want more of this world. So yeah, once again, the Batman Dark Metal one-shot just knocks it out of the park. Batman White Knight #2. Now here's another one that I did a video on, and it's been a little bit between the time I did the video and I'm doing the recording for this one. So I had a bit more time to think about it, and I do like, as I said before, the psychological implications that we see here. I like the fact that we're seeing a Joker that isn't so much crazy, but he's super sane, so to speak, and watching the plan come together, I enjoyed that. There was a little bit where there's two Harleys at one point, and someone mentioned that Harley could be like a position of sorts, so there are multiple bodies, when I thought it was just a mental aberration. That's one way to look at it as well. However, once again, this is a really good look at obsession and control. It's very good. Just 5-star book. Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man #6. Where the hell did this come from? Seriously. Could we have the last 5 issues be like this? Can we have the continuing story be written with this kind of quality? My goodness gracious, this blew me right away. Now, it's basically, and it's even titled Dinner with J. Jonah, is kind of a twist on my Dinner with Andre. 2 guys sit down, talk. That's it. It's a conversation. And they really do hash out the past. Like, even like little things. I'm very impressed with it, because one of my big complaints about Marvel is that there is no sense of a past. This book is there. Things happen. Things have happened. This is one of the best books Marvel has put out, and I mean single individual issues that Marvel has put out in a long, long time. Art and story work perfectly together in this story. Shading is excellent. There is just nothing to say wrong. They really put the work into it, and this celebrates Marvel's history. I'm shocked. So there you go, gang. A gaggle of comic book reviews. Some of them are surprising, I got to admit. But let's see what the scores were. Marvel Comics had 0 1 stars, 1 2 stars, 2 3 stars, 5 4 stars, 1 5 star. There were 9 comics, a score of 33 with an average of 3.67. Good week for Marvel. DC Comics had 1 1 star, 1 2 stars, 6 3 stars, 4 4 stars, 2 5 stars. There were 14 comics, a score of 47 with an average of 3.31. Which makes Marvel Comics the winner for the second week in a row. That is something. That I've got to say, I did not expect that. But I did not expect that Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man either. There were some definite surprises. Bombshells being as bad as it was, Peter Parker being as good as it was like a switch. So hey, there you go. Hopefully they keep it up. I have to judge these on an individual basis, on an issue-to-issue situation. And I just hope they continue, and I'm curious to see what my brother does for this week. So there you go. Those are my opinions. That was how I viewed this particular week. With some good books. I mean, they were good books, and this was a pretty close race, as a matter of fact. But what did you think? What was I right about? What was I wrong about? What would you have put higher? What would you have put lower? Because I know everybody doesn't have the same opinions on everything. Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you do like these videos, we've got quite a few in our backlog. So don't forget to click like, share, because that's really important. Get the word out there. And if you haven't done it already, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything else. Also, this is our only means of income. This is the way we make our money. So if you don't mind, go on over to Patreon or VIDME. The links are in the description below. Drop $1 in the till. Help us to keep the lights on and help us keep making videos for you. Certainly appreciate everybody who's already done that. And to all the true believers who feel that this identity politics BS is only what a social justice warrior feels is adult content, thank you very much for watching.